Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiarachchi.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines. Resolution to remove Deshabandhu Thennakoon from the post of IGP passed with a majority vote. Grants from next year's budget for a new government service, emphasizes the President. A positive change can be made through educational reforms, asserts Mahasangha. Insurance cover of parliamentarians reduced. The case against Kehelia Ramukwala and other defendants regarding illegal assets on the 10th of next month. A warning from the US to India. We now move on to those and other stories in detail, taking a look at local news first. The resolution to remove suspended Inspector General of Police from his post was passed in the Parliament with a majority of 177 votes.
Accordingly, as per the Act No. 5 of 2005 to remove officers, Deshabandhu Thennakoon will be removed from the post of Inspector General of Police by the President. Deshabandhu Thennakoon has been facing several allegations regarding the misuse of power of his post and irregularities, along with certain other incidents, including the shooting at W15 Hotel in Baligama. A special parliamentary committee was appointed in the month of April this year in order to investigate the incident. Supreme Court Judge Justice Preeti Padman Surasena was the chairman of the investigation committee, while Justice Neeli Davala and chairman of the National Police Commission Lalit Ekanayake were other members. The investigation committee recorded evidence daily basis since the 16th of July, and the final report was handed over to the Speaker on the 21st of last month. The Speaker, presenting the report to Parliament, stated that Deshabandhu Thennakoon has been held guilty unanimously for 19 out of the 23 allegations against him. Accordingly, the passing of the proposal to remove him from the top post of IGP was taken up in the Parliament today, and later voting was conducted. Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne said that the majority of the total number of the members of Parliament voted in favour, with 177 MPs supporting the resolution. Accordingly, the resolution was passed by a majority vote and no votes were cast against the resolution, whilst one member abstained from voting. Although the leader of the Samajana Balavege, Sajid Premadasa, stated that his team will support the resolution, the abstention of the 30 parliamentarians of the party was to be noted.
This has been the first occasion where an Inspector General of Police is removed from post by a passage of a resolution in Parliament regarding misuse of power and irregularities. Accordingly, the removal of Deshabandhu Thennakoon will be an historic event, stated Minister Ananda Vijaypala in Parliament today. The Minister observed this joining the debate for the passage of the resolution to remove the IGP from his post. Minister Ananda Vijaypala said that Deshabandhu Thennakoon had been removed from the post of Inspector General of Police under the provisions of the Removal of Public Officers Act No. 5 of 2002, marking the first time this legal framework had been used in such a manner. He emphasized that Thennakoon was deemed unsuitable to hold the position of IGP due to serious misconduct and abuse of authority. He explained that one major accusation against Thennakoon related to his failure to properly investigate the abduction and torture of senior journalist Jayantha, who had been abducted and assaulted. The journalist later provided a statement at the hospital during which Thennakoon, who was present at the time, was alleged to have attempted to interfere with the process. Jayantha had reported this interference to the Criminal Investigation Department. Minister Vijaypala further noted Thennakoon's alleged connection to the high-profile 2011 assassination of presidential advisor Bharata Lakshman Premachandra. He referred to court testimonies and the death inquest, where Premachandra's driver Samantha Pereira claimed to have been seen Deshabandhu Thennakoon's vehicle near the scene of the incident, closely following the convoy of a former MP R. Duminda Silva, who was later convicted and sentenced to death. Another driver also testified that Tennakon had been seen approximately 150 meters from the location during the exchange of gunfire. He added that the Supreme Court's 5-judge bench concluded that Dominda Silva and his group had violated election laws on that day and engaged in illegal public gatherings. Tennakon, then an officer in charge of the Nugegoda division, had failed to act to disperse the gathering, which eventually led to the deaths of Prema Chandra and 3 others and the conviction of several involved, including a sitting MP. Minister Vijaypala argued that Tennakon's presence and inaction at the time raised serious questions about his suitability to serve as IGP. The minister also brought up Tennakon's alleged inaction during the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks, pointing out that as the DIG in charge of the Gampaha region, he had received prior intelligence about potential suicide bombings targeting Catholic churches, but had merely circulated a brief memo to lower-ranking officers without initiating any follow-up investigations or preventive action. The Presidential Commission later revealed that Tennakon had been on leave and out of Colombo on the day of the attacks. Minister Vijaypala stated that no action had been taken against Tennakon during the tenure of the previous Yahapalaniya government or by the succeeding administration. Not only was no disciplinary action pursued, but in June 2021, the cabinet had even approved the provision of back pay and benefits to Tennakon. He further noted that in 2021, the Public Service Commission had recommended that charge sheets be issued against Deshabandhu Tennakon and others involved in various serious allegations. However, a letter from the then IGP advised against issuing these charge sheets, citing the individuals' potential roles as witnesses in ongoing cases. As a result, the disciplinary process was stalled. Minister Vijaypala highlighted additional accusations against Tennakon, including his alleged involvement in the violent crackdown on peaceful protesters during the Golfes Aragalaya. It was revealed through CID investigations that Tennakon had ignored requests from artists and others to stop the violent dispersal of protesters near temple trees. Subsequently, Tennakon had reportedly ordered that 5 million rupees allegedly seized after the protests be handed over to the then Minister of Public Security. This order was documented by the officer in charge of the relevant police station. The minister also referred to a 2025 Magistrates Court ruling related to a shooting incident at the W15 Hotel in Valigama. The court had recommended the arrest and prosecution of Tennakon and others involved. However, due to evasion of arrest, an open warrant had been issued against him in March 2025. Minister Vijaypala told Parliament that over 40 legal cases had been filed against Tennakon and the former IGP had been named as either an accused or suspect in many of them. Despite the serious legal and ethical concerns, he had been appointed IGP without proper clearance from the Constitutional Council, rendering the appointment legally questionable. He added that civil society actors, including Cardinal Malcolm Ranjith and other religious and civic groups, had filed petitions with the Supreme Court challenging the legality of Tennakon's appointment. Following a preliminary review, the Supreme Court issued an interim order in July 2024 suspending Tennakon from carrying out the functions of IGP. Minister Vijaypala concluded by stating that based on the findings of a parliamentary committee appointed on the 25th of March 2025 and subsequent reporting by the Speaker to Parliament, it was determined unanimously that Deshabandhu Tennakon had engaged in misconduct and abuse of power. The report submitted to the Speaker, comprising of over 207 pages, outlined 4 major charges against Tennakon, supporting the decision for his removal from office.
President Arun Kumar Dissanayake revealed that the provisions will be allocated in the upcoming year's budget to build a modern public service by carrying out self-criticism of the state mechanism that has been physically and spiritually weakened. President Arun Kumar Dissanayake made these remarks today at the 41st annual conference of the Sri Lanka Administrative Service Association. The summit was held under the patronage of President Arun Kumar Dissanayake in Temple Trees. Prime Minister Dr. Harni Amarasuriya and Minister Dr. Chandra Chandana Beratna were also present at the occasion. It was significant that the annual conference was held at a lapse of 5 years. The research magazine prepared by the Sri Lanka Administrative Service Association was presented to the President. President Arun Kumar Dissanayake, addressing the key gathering of public officials, emphasized the government's commitment to modernize Sri Lanka's public service. He stated that the common and noble aspiration exists to transform the public sector to a modern, efficient and citizen-centered service. The President noted that the government had gathered the largest basic salary increment in the recent history and assured that a further increase would be provided in January of the coming year. The President stressed that a fair salary structure is essential to make the public sector an attractive career path. Highlighting the concerns about the corruption and misuse of authority, the President remarked that the public office signed thousands of documents daily and any exploitation of the authority for the monetary gain would result in enforcement of the law. However, the President clarified that such action not be perceived as a witch hunt or attempt to instill fear among public servants. He pointed out that the authority must lead the way in creating the new culture within the public service, adding that the aim is to offer services that bring satisfaction to citizens. He called on all public services to act according to their true conscience and understand their responsibility not just legally but morally and socially. Referring to the incidents of misconduct, the President said some officers have been found keeping money in lockers that even prisoners were not able to possess office weapons and keys, indicating a deep-rooted value basis issue. He warned that the human values have been eroded and emphasized that the social responsibility cannot be restored with the mere regulations or constitutional amendments, but through a true understanding of one's duty as a citizen. He concluded by urging everyone to unite in the transformative and to build a strong public service and work collectively to ensure high quality of life to all citizens.
මාතර සිරගෙදරේ සිරකරුවන් తాවකාලිකව මාරු කරන්න සිද්ධ වුණා අගුණකොළ පැලැස්ස. ඊට පස්සේ සිරගෙදර පරීක්ෂාවට භාජනය කරා. හෑන්ඩ් කප් මාංචු හතක් තියෙනවා සිරකරුව ගාව. හෑන්ඩ් කප් වල යතුරු 27ක් තියෙනවා සිරකරුව ගාව. මොකද උන් බස් එකට නගිනකොට පරීක්ෂා කළා නගින්න නිසා දාලා යන්න සිද්ධ වුණා. අගුණකොළ පැලැස්සට ගෙනියන මාරු කරන. ෆෝන් තිබෙනවා. හැම උපකරණයක්ම තිබෙනවා. ඉතින් තමන්ගේ වගකීම තමන්ගේ සමාජයේ තියෙන වටිනාකම වෙනුවට මූල්‍ය වටිනාකම ඔබට පරිවර්තන වී තිබෙනවා. සමනර කියමනක් තියෙනවා. සියලු මිනිස් අධ්‍යාත්මයන් අයිස් වතුරේ ගිල්ලා මරා දමා ඇත. අධ්‍යාත්මය. ඒවා චක්‍රලීකනේ, ඒවා අනපනත් වලින්, ව්‍යවස්ථාවලින් निर्माण කළ හැකි දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. ඒක පුරවැසියෙක් ලෙස තමන්ගේ වගකීම් ලෙස සමාජ බැඳීම් ලෙස තේරුම් ගත යුතුයි කියලා මම විශ්වාස කරනවා. මම ඔබට කියන්නම්. ඔබ සහ අප එක්ව මේ පරිවර්තනය කරේ නැත්නම් අපේ රටේ පුරවැසියන් සිහිනකින්වත් අඩු ලෝකයක් බලන්න කැමති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි උපරිම උත්සාහ කරමු නව සංස්කෘතියකට අපේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය පරිවර්තනය කරන්න.
රාජ්‍ය සේවය පමණක් නෙවෙයි.
Prime Minister Dr. Harniyama Soria echoed the President's sentiments and called for a reassessment of how the public trust in the long-standing administrative service must be built. She affirmed that the political leadership is committed to ensuring democratic governance and transforming the important duties of the public servants into services that truly benefit the people. She emphasized that the transformative changes require active participation and support from public officers. Addressing the gathering, Presidential Advisor on Digital Economy, Dr. Hans Vijay Surya, highlighted the crucial role of digital transformation in strengthening the efficiency of the public sector. He stated that the integration of digital tools, citizens can now receive faster and efficient services.
The Cabinet has approved to reduce the limit of group insurance cover for a parliamentarian from 1 million rupees to 250,000 rupees. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jatis has stated this joining the media briefing to announce today's Cabinet decisions at the Department of Government Information. President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka had proposed an insurance cover of 1 million rupees for a parliamentarian while presenting the budget for 2025. It has been decided to reduce the insurance cover for the year starting from 9th October onwards. The proposal was presented by Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Ananda Vijaypala. The Cabinet also granted approval to develop the central bus stand in Fort. An amount of 425 million rupees has been estimated for this purpose, while the proposal was forwarded by Minister Bimal Ratnayaka. The housing projects suspended at present at Columbagay Mawatha and Torrington Mawatha will recommence with the Cabinet approval granted today. The project has more than 740 units of houses at an estimated cost of 7.48 billion rupees. The proposal for the project was made by Minister Anura Karnatilaka. The Cabinet also approved the amendment of National Child Protection Authority Act, It has been identified as a requirement to update this 25 years old Act, and the proposal in this regard was presented by Minister of Women and Child Affairs Saroja Palraj. The government has decided to establish a presidential task force in order to implement the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Programme under the theme A New Tourist Industry and Attractive Destination. It was proposed by President Anurukumara Dissanayaka. The task force will be set up under the chairmanship of Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijitha Herath. Cabinet approval has been granted for the proposal by Minister Vijitha Herath to create the city of Kandy and historic Sri Dalada Maligawa, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage, under the name Virtual City in Kandy. This is being implemented as a pilot project of the project to create virtual cities. The project will be conducted by Sri Lanka Telecom with grants of Clean Sri Lanka project.
Minister Dr. Nalin Jatisa says that the government is taking steps to decision to abolish the pension of parliamentarians. The minister stated that in a cabinet briefing today at the party was the same decision that the history also took. Cabinet spokesman Dr. Nalin Jayatissa said that the former and current members of the parliament affiliated with the Janata Vimukthi Peramuna had no moral right to criticize the pension scheme, as it was the JP that had consistently called for the abolition from the beginning. He explained that this had been part of the political stance from the outset and they had maintained the position throughout. He noted that it was only after they came into power they had an opportunity to act on it. He further said that MP Vasantha Samarasinghe had previously submitted a private member's proposal to the Parliament to abolish the pension, but the Parliament had not supported it at the time. Minister Dr. Jayatissa added that the divisional secretariats across the country were currently conducting assessments to identify the individuals struggling to meet their basic living needs, and applications should be submitted accordingly. The minister added that further negotiations will be held with the United States regarding the tariffs. Cabinet spokesman said that under the leadership of the president, discussions were being held with the US officials, diplomats and businessmen stakeholders regarding the restructuring of an existing tariff imposed by the United States. He had said that the series of productive meetings have been held, including with the representatives of the US Department of Commerce. These discussions, he explained, were ongoing and focused on the potential of reduction of certain taxes, although no final decision yet had been made. He emphasized that once the discussions were concluded, the Ministry of Finance would issue an official statement outlining the outcomes. Police media spokesman expressed his views regarding the media briefing about the threats of certain police officials from criminals. The police media spokesman ASP F.U. Wootler said that the investigations had been initiated to verify identities of individuals involved in certain activities to determine whether they were operating from within Sri Lanka or foreign-based cyber criminals.
Defence Secretary Sampath Thuyakonta says that national security will not be affected by the underworld at all. He made this observation in reply to a query by media persons after a program held in Colombo today. Defence Secretary Sampath Thuyakonta said that there is no threat to national security. He said that the underworld has already been shaken and that this is necessary. He explained that the underworld no longer has a political protection and many individuals involved in underworld activities have already been taken into custody. He further mentioned that the Ministry of Public Security is implementing a systematic plan and that the required support is being provided within the legal framework.
Minister Sunil Handunetti says that the Sevenagalup and Palavatta Sugar companies have overcome their risky situation by stabilizing the prices of ethanol and sugar. He made these remarks joining the debate in Parliament today. Minister Sunil Handunetti said that the government admits that there is a delay of payments about 2 months. A sum of 871 million rupees had been paid so far. 422 farmers in Sevenagala and 1,890 in Palavatta have been supplying sugarcane. Their harvests are being purchased continuously. In the protests organized by the opposition, farmers who are not relevant to this matter have also taken part. A sum of 127 million rupees is to be paid to Sevenagala farmers. Of the amount, 175 million rupees have already been paid. The rest will be credited to the relevant bank accounts in the future. 81 million rupees were paid to as transport allowances for Senegal of hours. Out of the amount, 73 million rupees had been already paid. The rest will be paid within this week. The company has earned 112 million rupees by the 1st of August through the sales of sugar. By the 10th of August, another 412 million rupees will be received. In addition, 94 million rupees have been earned through ethanol. The sugar July salary has been already paid. The companies have passed risky situation safely. The government had the opportunity to sell stock of about 23,000 metric tons of sugar and stock of ethanol at a lower rate. However, the government did not commit to the offence made by the previous regime and paid a reasonable price to the farmers. The government managed to maintain the sugar industry without causing financial crisis in the two companies.
A case has been filed at the Colombo High Court by the Attorney General against Nadun Chintaka Vikramaratna, alias Harakkata, and 5 other defendants. The case has been filed under the allegation of conspiring to flee while they were under the custody of the Criminal Investigation Department. The case was taken up today in the presence of Colombo High Court Judge Justice Sujeeva Nishankar, and indictments were forwarded against the defendants. Nadun Chintaka Vikramaratna, alias Harakkata, former constable of the Criminal Investigation Department, Ravindu Sandeepa Gunasekara, Dinesh Taranga Ruwan Chamara, alias Midigama Ruwan, and Sanjeeva Abesingha have been named as defendants of the case. The concerned defendants were produced before the court when the case was taken up for hearing. Later, the court ordered to get their fingerprints and call for records in this regard. The case will be taken up again on the 24th of September. The Colombo High Court ordered today to call for hearing on the 10th of next month the case which has been filed against former Minister Keheliya Rambukwala, his wife, 3 daughters and son-in-law, alleging as to how they earned an income of more than 97 million rupees illegally when the case was taken up in the presence of Colombo High Court Judge Justice Lanka Jayaratne today. The judge issued an order to provide the defendants any documents before the commencement of conferences prior to taking up of the case for hearing. The official who appeared on behalf of the Bribery Commission stated that steps have been taken to call for reports from the government analysts regarding signature of Keheliya Rambukwala in the documents pertaining to the case.
Former President's Secretary Saman Ekanaika attended the Criminal Investigation Department in the morning today in order to provide a statement. According to our correspondent, Saman Ekanaika had provided a statement for nearly 5 hours. His statement has been recorded pertaining to an investigation being conducted regarding a private tour by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe using government funds.
The National Youth Services Council has established youth clubs under the policy of 1 club per each Grama Niladhara division. The National Youth Summit is to be held on the 12th of this month at the Sugata Dasa Indoor Stadium under the patronage of President Anurakumara Dissanayake with the participation of 6,000 members. In this summit, the 19th National Council of the Sri Lanka Youth Societies Conference will be appointed. A media briefing in this regard was held in Colombo today. Director Administration and Human Resources Management Manula Chamal Pereira said that setting up youth clubs is being carried out island-wide at present. These clubs will be set up in all the 14,802 Grama Niladhara divisions with a definite target. A youth club in each Grama Seva division will be set up with a collective of youth associations. 340 such clubs have already been set up at regional level. In addition, 26 district councils will be formed. A national youth convention has not been organized since 1983. Deputy Director of the NYSC, Kumudini Dissanayake, said that many programs such as Youth Parliament will be held during this 4-day campaign for the benefit of youth interested in politics. They will also have the opportunity to discuss how they voluntarily develop their respective village areas. Officials of the Youth Services Council will take the lead in directing them.
In the meantime, the second Randoli Perahera of the historic Esala festival is now parading the streets.
It is reported that a large number of devotees gathered to Kandy to view the Perahera. The second Randoli Perahera commenced today at the auspicious time of 7:16 p.m. It proceeded along the Dalada Vidya, DSN Anayaka Vidya, Sir Bernard Soisa Street and Yatinura Vidya and turned from the King Street and then along the E.L. Senanayaka Street and Cross Street. Then again turns to D.S. Senanayaka Vidya and proceeds along the King Street and enters the Maligawa premises. Vasana Tasker of the Ruhunu Maha Kataragama Devalaya carries the sacred casket flanked by Kote Raja and Buruma Raja.
Mahatheras of the Amarapura and Raman Mahanikayas stressed that the contributing to the education reforms that can bring about a positive change across the entire nation is a national responsibility of the Mahasangha. The Theras emphasized that the government is committed to this endeavor and it is commendable. Special decision to bring the chief incumbent of the Amarapura and Raman Mahanikayas about the new education reforms was held yesterday at the headquarters of the Sri Lanka Raman Mahanikaya with the participation of the Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that one of the main reasons for the competitiveness observed among schools was the inequality in the resource allocation. She pointed out that while some schools were fully equipped with the necessary faculties, the others lacked even the most basic infrastructure. Similarly, certain schools had an excess number of teachers, whereas the majority of the schools suffered from a severe shortage. The Prime Minister explained that the government had therefore decided to reform the final phase of the school education system. This reform, she said, must begin with the changes to the current subject stream structure, and it was a decision taken with the aim of ensuring a more suitable education system. As part of this change, it was planned to gradually introduce revised subject curriculum starting from grade 6 with full implementation to be commenced in 2026. Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Education Services, Kamal Arya Sena, added that the system from the grade 6 to grade 11 often required students to study subjects with little relevance or interest regarding their preference or aptitudes. He noted that after the grade level examination, the students should be given an opportunity to select their subject based on the abilities, given the opportunity to select subjects based on the skills and interests. He further said currently a surplus of graduates from the academic stream, there remained a shortage above vocational level, and emphasized that more should be given to vocational and technical education. Professor Venerable Pinnavala Sangha Sumanathero of the University of Sri Jayanthapura expressed his support for the new education reforms. The Thera said that Mahasangha welcomed the initiatives and acknowledged their national responsibility in supporting a transformative process. We'll be back with more news after a short break.
You can make a difference. It is your duty to help eradicate dengue. Clean up your environment at least once a week. A message from the Dengue Control Unit of the Ministry of Health.
Now on foreign news, US President Donald Trump has warned that tariffs on Indian goods may increase the response to India's continuous importation from oil from Russia. The Indian government is rejecting the warning, calling it unjust and unreasonable. In 2022, following Russia's military invasion of Ukraine, many European nations suspended the trade relations with Russia. Despite this move, India continued purchasing crude oil from Russia and has become one of the largest buyers of Russian oil globally. Against the backdrop, President Trump stated that the government of the United States is considering the increasing tariffs on Indian goods due to India's ongoing energy trade with Russia. The statement comes days after the United States imposed a 25% tariff on certain Indian imports, adding the further weight to his warning. Responding to the statement, the Indian government emphasized the president's Trump's remarks were unjustified, and in an official statement, the Ministry of External Affairs noted that at the beginning of the Ukraine conflict, both the United States and India were encouraged to stabilize the global energy markets.
We now move on to sports news. Ronitma Lianage, who won the Under-19 women's singles event of the Junior Badminton Championship of England, returned to the island from Katunayake International Airport yesterday in the afternoon. The championship was held in Birmingham, England. 57 athletes from 13 countries participated in the championship. Ronitma Lianage, who qualified for the women's singles finals, contested against a player from England. She won the gold medal by winning the finals 2-0. Ronitma Lianage is the national badminton champion of Sri Lanka and is a student of Christchurch Girls' School, Baddegama in Galle. Chairman of Sri Lanka Badminton Association, Roshan Gunawardena, officials and her parents were present at the airport to receive her.
That's it for Trans English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.